2 or 3 50 minutes into the game and they just get completely walked all over. So we'll see. It is definitely a little bit of a gamble, but as we have a quick look in on these inventories, FY is going to start things out with a smoke. We've got Fenrir with another smoke, so definitely expecting aggression out of them. Super's actually making his way up towards the top lane right now, so it looks like Vici considering going aggressive at least to start things out here. C9 with their full defensive tri-lane up here as well. And AUI actually starting out with some boots first, so it looks like no sentry wards for this lane right now, and maybe a little bit more roaming happening out of them. But roaming away is going to be a great way to punish Vici if they just sit here and try and run an aggressive lineup. But it looks like C9 kind of know what's going on. They've placed down the observer ward in the lane, so nobody's going to be caught out by an early smoke.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting lane scenario here, and as I say, that AUI is actually rotating to the bottom. I think the idea with the boots is similar to that of Rasta. Alchemist is not the slowest hero, but he's slower than average, and this hurts his ability to dish out the unstable concoction ever since the nerf. It no longer channels through the air travel time, which means that as soon as he releases, it's going to cast, and his cast time is now only like 5.5 seconds, his margin for dropping the stun itself. So he really wants to move fast and get as close as possible while he has the vision. Oh, counter ward coming out. They watched the replay.
Yeah. Did they actually spot this ward being placed? No, I think so their ward was there 1 second earlier, but I don't know if they would have seen it. Stun coming in from the side, FY with the lift. It's a 2-hero stun. FY is actually in a lot of trouble. Rubik not the fastest hero. Stun comes out, but AUI with the boots. Gonna chase him down, and here comes the body blocks on Fenrir, trying to get around him. Won't be able to. Gonna go up towards top. Big Buddy Super is gonna come in to help him out, but that's a first blood going the way of C9. And a really nice way for them to start out this game, and a pretty disastrous way for Vici Gaming, honestly, to start this aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah, they lost the creep equilibrium as well, and this is going to hurt them a bit. Now Cloud9 is going to push, which means they'll get it back, but with this kind of heavy push, there's no way they can apply any sorts of aggression, so these supports, they better be very, very careful. If they get caught up by another unstable concoction or something like that, they may very well just go down again.
Yeah, and at that stage, if they go down again, then the cores in the other lanes might already be getting to the point where they're pretty difficult to gank. So the smokes may not even end up paying off for them. So this is a pretty tough time. Paladai's already managed to stack up the pull, and he's running that one back. So already denying some experience and getting that incremental lead going their way. And well, are the trades that Vici Gaming are getting in the other lanes worth this? We've got a Panda up against a Faceless Void on bot. Should be a little bit of a farm fest. Both have reasonable base damage. Panda can secure last hits with Drunken Brawlers, so I think he should be okay. And mid lane, Nyx Assassin not fated to do too well against the ODs, so Vici do at least have that going for them.
Yeah, I think the old Nyx was, I mean, I say old Nyx, but it's really before the Essence Aura change on the OD. In the previous patch, the Nyx Assassin still did okay. It always got maybe about 40 to 50% of the CS that the OD would get, but it would enable the OD to get ganked at any moment. As soon as one of the Astral stacks just expired, it would allow Nyx to either go in with some sort of Spike Carapace against the right click and follow up with a stun, or just keep the mana burns on the black or on the OD. And this patch, it's a little bit different because Essence Aura has 40% chance at level 1, which means that OD sustain is much better overall. And there it is, it procced already.
Yeah, I think the change is that it's effectively just much more consistent. Before it was always the same mana returns at every point, but the percentage varied. Now the percentage varies along with the restored mana. So, but yeah, you're right. I know that in the old matchup, it used to be that if the OD got particularly unlucky, then he could end up just completely to the mana burn, and that would just be it. But now, because of the consistency, I think the OD is definitely always going to have the mana for an Astral, so a little bit of a change there on that lane. But looking into the CS so far, we've got a very nice early lead for all 3 cores out of Vici Gaming. So despite the supports not doing too much, the aggressive pressure is at least keeping the C9 supports up here and shutting down Envy's farm at least a little bit.
Yeah. This is quite nice for Super, I would say. He's got enough money for his boots if he chooses to sell one of his branches, and looks like he wants to walk into the secret shop to do so right now. Razor in the tri-lane is something that people forgot about. How powerful this hero is cannot be understated, because that Plasma Field nuke does so much damage to all the heroes in the lane most of the time, and the Static Link, a solid zoning tool just for himself against some other target as well. But in the meantime, as you said, you know, the CS difference is really growing. The gap is just increasing. We see Black here 19 to 15, and his mid partner is 4-1 in Bone 7. This is not one of those lanes that you can just sap EXP and be content with. You really need to get a little bit of CS, and he's in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, things not going too well for Bone. I think sitting back a little bit because they lost track of the supports on top, so even more caution out of him there. So Fenrir and F1 not going to be too successful. There's a wraparound coming here. AOI looking for the stun. He gets lifted. Can they chain stun him and prevent it being thrown out? No, they won't be able to. Super still gets stunned up, but one goes down. That is going to be AOI on the Alchemist. Fenrir chasing forward. Creep Wave comes in to soak up the Edict, so no further kills. Highlight Die actually just standing a little bit far forward here. Goes for the Nightmare. Will he be able to get out of here? Wakes himself back up, but a Fade Bolt along with an auto attack. Super and FY clean that one up and ends up being 2 for nothing on this top lane. FY and Fenrir coming back to the top lane at just the right time, and C9 were just telling themselves, oh hey, they're camping mid, they're gonna go try kill Bone 7. Let's bully the Razor at the very least, but
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. This is honestly a really nice thing for smoke rotating supports to do, and I think it's going to become more common. It's gotten to the point where you can actually just smoke in front of the enemy's face at nighttime, and you can just use that as a zoning tool for 30 seconds. So when you have a more superior aggressive lineup, this is the right way to do it. And as you said, Vici just reacted perfectly to that Alchemist aggression coming from the side with the stun.
Yeah, they didn't even, I don't think they even knew that he was there. They were just like, oh, well, we didn't succeed mid, they're probably going to make a go on our Razor top lane, we may as well go and sit right behind him, and worked out perfectly. So very good awareness out of Vici, and yeah, you heard it here first, the mind game smokes are definitely very real.
Very real. I'm hoping they become more common though. It really is a scary tool. I mean, you really do, right? If you have underleveled supports, or if your supports can't fight up theirs, you're fully well aware of the fact that wherever they appear, somebody's gonna die. So you just have to sit back everywhere. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Bone 7 just gonna be picking himself up a nice little bouncy rune in his bottle right now. ISS coming down, checking out bot. That's gonna be an invis. Looks like he's gonna go grab that one. FATA doing pretty well on CS, also going to be grabbing a bottle of his own. And the Brewmaster has a lot of weight on his shoulders this game. Chronosphere dropped on Bone 7 mid. Is this going to be a pretty straightforward kill? Black still got his ultimate. Spiked Carapace comes out. Bone 7 just running back. They've got the time walk slow. Stun coming out. FATA here as well is going to be put under right as he gets stunned, TPing in. And it looks like Vici Gaming just kind of overestimating how much damage they had there. To be able to bring down the Nyx Assassin. Super in the midst of everything up on top lane. Got some good damage drained out of E, but it's still going to be a stun coming out after the Nightmare. Acid Spray coming out. Stick Charges keep him alive a little bit longer, but not long enough. Highlight Die with one more auto attack. Will bring himself up to 1-1-1. And he picks that kill.
This is the danger, however, that the Razor faces, especially when he's so underleveled, going up against his tri-lane as his supports are moving. So vision, it's just so critical at this stage in the game at nighttime in tri-lane versus tri-lane situations. And honestly, you know, whatever happened at mid lane for the side of Vici, it wasn't that bad entirely because FATA TP'd back to the mid lane, or TP to the mid lane rather, and his bottle was going back, which means he had to rotate back to an extent. And that wasted a lot of time on his part. The only difference is Ice committed an ultimate, which I guess kind of hurts him, but not really. And FATA didn't, which means that he gets to retain his ultimate and apply that pressure of either turning a fight or solo killing.
Yeah, and you talked about the importance of vision, and I think that's where you really have to credit the Vici supports on getting out as early as they possibly could with their next pack of wards and just getting set up to spot any potential rotations, any potential stacks, and just making sure that importantly that the OD is safe and yeah, that nobody is moving towards him right now. C9 going to come out a little bit later, but looks like their wards are not going to be spotted by the earlier Vici wards, so they'll probably stay up, at least for now. But that is always the risk if you're the second team to put up your next batch of wards. And, well, I saw it's just a Bassi actually picked up on bottom lane, helps keep this wave out a little bit, but it is pushed in pretty deep under the tower. FY is chilling out behind Super up on top. Fenrir is chilling out behind Black. On mid end, Vici just kind of entering farm mode for a little bit. They do have a Chronosphere back off cooldown right now, but no TP on the Void just yet, so no immediate gank potential, but we will see that coming up a little bit later. Speaking of ganks, Bone7's made his way all the way down bot, still has a couple of seconds of Vendetta left, won't be able to get the hit out onto Ice. Good damage out of the crit and the clap, but without that Vendetta hit, they won't be able to get this kill, so it just ends up being an unsuccessful first rotation out of Bone7.
I find it very odd that he didn't go for the Vendetta hit. I mean, despite the potential backtrack or the fact that he might come into tower vision, if they wanted to make that kill happen, there was no way that you cannot connect the Vendetta, and I'm pretty sure he was aware of that. So I wonder what his thought process was there.
Yeah, I guess he just thought, oh look, it's only an 800 HP void. I guess we've got enough damage, and I don't even know if Ice backtracked anything significant there either.
No,
I think maybe the mana burn, but yeah. So unsuccessful gank out of Bone7, unfortunately. He's just going to go back mid and soak a little bit more experience and a few more CS here and there. And in general, we are slowing down a little bit. Checking in on support levels, we've got a slight lead for Vici with two level 4 supports. Paladai and AOI level 4 and level 3 respectively, but still some nice pulls being run. And Pi actually getting pretty close to his level 5 right now as AOI just picked up some Tranquils and he's clearing out the jungle. So not too surprised to see C9 being very efficient with their time right now, but the big question is going to be when these two pick-off heroes come online. And so, speaking of that, FATA is just about to grab his Blink Daggers, so we've got potential split ganks coming up.
Yep. You know what though? They just took the bounty rune at the top lane or at the top river with the smoke of this seat. So somebody on Cloud9 pinged it out. I think Bone7 actually pinged it out, and they're aware that Vici has jungle presence in their own area right now.
Yeah, so the smoke from Vici, even bringing Ice up here, is not going to be successful. EE is hiding all the way underneath his tower right now, up on the tier 1, and he's actually gone for Arcanes here. Oh, well. As I say that, we've got a kill down on bottom lane. FATA jumps in with the blink and a double damage, and is going to be able to burst down Fenrir. Absolutely no problem, so say goodbye to the horseman there. But what do you make of these Arcanes, Stevie? You know?
Pardon me, sorry, I muted my mic for a second.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I think at first I was doubtful, but I think it's actually a really nice pickup. And it's probably only good on safe lane Naga, but it basically lets you skip bottle. And it's weird because usually when you have bottle, you find yourself going into lower life points, so it's good that way. But Eternal Envy, he maxes the Riptide before the Mirror Image, which is kind of the opposite of how some other people play it. And, well actually, pardon me, I think the common build right now is actually maxing the Riptide, which is not the build that I personally agree with, but it works with this build very well. The Arcane Boots it's a really nice pickup for what it's worth.
Yeah, I can't speak for anybody else because I haven't been watching Naga play too closely, but I know Burning used to be all about the max illusion build, get the illusions farming the jungle as fast as possible and just pushing that Radiance timing out by another, speeding it up by about a minute or so, or a little bit more. I haven't actually checked the numbers, but that's kind of what it feels like. But going for a slightly more active build this game, also has a point up in the ensnare for the tri-lane versus tri-lane, and I think the Arcane Boot's also going to be a really big help for his supports, especially since AUI is gone for Tranquils, and Pi, he's actually gone for a pair of Arcanes of his own. I was about to say that maybe this opens up Pi to get something different, but not gonna happen. Jump in from Ice top lane. Song coming out from EE. They don't have a grip just yet on the Bane, unfortunately, but they can still Nightmare him. Maybe set up for Bone7 to get in position. There's the Nightmare. Bone7 loops around the corner, throws out the stun. Couple of backtracks coming out, but it won't be enough. And EE just gets a kill delivered to him on a silver platter. I don't know what Ice was planning there. There wasn't really anyone around either. Maybe some TP's coming in. There's a jump in bottom lane with the Panda split, as they do actually manage to catch out the Razor a little bit further back. FY up in the air, still a little bit of the split left, and AOI coming in. C9 striking in 2 different lanes, and will pick up 3 separate kills. Fenrir coming in with the Edict, but FATA with the haste. Scoots back into the jungle, and that is going to be that. Really nice couple of minutes for C9.
Wow, they actually dove past the tier 2 and came out scot-free at the bottom lane. Quite impressive, but I do have to credit some of that to the fact that Void died. As you said, man, he just, I don't know, Ice, he's known to be a very bold player, but sometimes that kind of boldness kind of turns against you.
I feel like he hasn't been consistent in the last couple of weeks. He's had some amazing games. That one Chronosphere by the Rosh Pit in the previous game of this series was phenomenal, but we've also seen some kind of shaky performances, and I think it does come back, like you said, to much more aggressive play on his part, and that's just the kind of player that he is. But that is going to send him back a little bit. Looks like he's just working in towards some treads right now. Pretty standard build out of Ice Ice Ice, though he does have an Aquila, Poor Man Shield, and an Orb of Venom, so he's padded his inventory quite a bit this game.
Honestly, the kill score right now is so deceptive. As much as I don't doubt that Cloud9 is in the lead right now, Black has had 0 participation so far, and honestly, that's a really good thing for Vici. If Black had 0 participation, that means that his lane is undisturbed, and his hero is undisturbed. So, two really good saving graces.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Black's item build at all. Went for the Midas, has already picked up a 4-staff, so things looking really promising for him. And I feel like OD is maybe one of the few heroes that you can justify a Midas on these days, just because of how well he does with levels. Every single skill is important to max out, and then even after that, just getting more int, 3.3 int growth, not too shabby, is always important for his orb and his ult, so I think it makes sense from Black here. And like you said, he hasn't been pressured in the slightest, so he's looking good.
Of course, the mid tower, both towers haven't taken any damage, and here it is, Ice Ice Ice.
Jumping in, they've spotted out the real EE, they've still got a follow-up stun from Fenrir. Pylai coming in, might be able to get the Nightmare, will that be a deny? It will! Nice Pylai with the plays, Fenrir now getting jumped by FATA. Edict getting split around a little bit. It's 1-for-1. FATA still going to work. Doesn't actually have enough mana to pop the split just yet. Could maybe swap to int treads. Making his way back in right now. Jumps in. There's the primal split. Not going to risk the clap in case he doesn't have enough mana. Focusing FY for now with 2 Ice Ice Ice. Also jumping over. Stick Charge is going to bring FY back to full HP. Black just going to head back towards this tier 1 tower. Fire Panther still chasing along with Earth. There's the lift. FATA gonna have to wait for him to be dropped back down. Up on the high ground, Pylai also still waiting with the Fiend's Grip in tow, but Black at the ready there, so just gonna end up being the 1-for-1, but not really. Really nice deny coming out of Pi, and it looks like EE maybe even just picking up the Radiance recipe before going down there, so hardly anything lost out of that death for Cloud9.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a big thing on Cloud9 to never lose gold, or try your best not to lose gold. So they always put stuff on their quick buy and then buy just whatever's available. In this case, I guess he figured that with the Radiance recipe pickup he would have enough reliable gold or whatever. Although I'm not even sure if he stopped himself from losing gold. But this is very interesting, and I'm not sure if this is actually the right move here.
Yeah, it is going to slow down his relic, and that's the big thing, of course. So see how this ends up going.
This is tricky because you can very well die after the relic, and in the same case, in the same way, you can die after the Radiance recipe.
We've got an attempted kill for C9 on bottom lane as their tier 1 ends up being taken on mid, but not going to come to fruition. Ice 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 just backing himself off. Bone 7, how's he been doing? Just some arcane boots and a bottle picked up. A little bit of a quiet game out of him, honestly. 0-0-1. We're going to dive back behind the tier 2 tower here. Just a stun lob down to Ice Ice Ice. As C9 will continue to pressure in here with the illusion. There's only 3 heroes down here, so needs to be careful about how long they stick around, but it looks like they are going to start retreating out now as well.
And in the meantime, Eternal Envy just bumming up the enemy jungle here, giving himself the space they need, and that bottom tier 1 tower, the fact that they took it allows them to actually do this kind of thing. He has the sleep available, so he can get out of some sticky situations, but he probably wants a TP in his inventory to follow up the Song of the Siren, otherwise he might just get ran down.
Yeah, nothing flying in just yet, so we'll have to take a detour over to the side shop before too long. Vici, another big rotation coming towards top. They do have a Smoke of the Seed over on this Rubik right now to maybe go for that one, so that's going to be the call. Meanwhile, C9 actually just stacking up some Ancients. That's going to be a triple stack over there, so ready to be cleared out at a later date. But checking in on the graphs, it's really even right now. Small lead in C9's favor. And do you feel that that's reflective of the state of the game overall right now?
Personally, I don't think so. I think this graph is pretty deceptive. I think the scoreboard and everything is quite deceptive. Again, it's due to the fact that Black's presence hasn't really shown.
Is he going to reveal this? No, there's a jump in. Chronosphere onto EE being focused. I don't think he has any chance of getting out of here. Vendetta stolen by FY. Bone 7 not even going to pop the Carapace, was waiting to see if they turned onto him, but not going to end up happening. AUI with the stun primed up on the high ground, but that's going to bump Envy a little bit further down. 2k gold up on his Naga Siren as Vici Gaming swarm in towards this tier 2 tower.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, storm in they go. Black just right-clicking away at the tower. And I'm surprised to say, this might not make a lot of sense, but for an OD that's been free-farming with that Midas. Oh, that thought.
Jump in. Fenrir are going to be focused first. They've got the boulder and the stun lit onto the Razor. It's next to the next to the next for C9. Bone 7 looking to line up this stun. Now there's just going to be a Fiend's Grip immediately. Super will be next to fall. Bone 7 dropping pretty low out of the eye of the storm, but he's going to be fine. And Vici pressuring perhaps a little bit too aggressively there. The Naga is far from the core of C9's fight at the moment, and Brewmaster reminding everybody of his role in this game, which is crush all of these mid-game team fights. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah, that was a really, really huge fight for Cloud9. They'll probably be able to return some of the pressure. I don't think they can commit to the mid tower because their heroes just aren't designed for that kind of thing, nor can they follow up with a Roche kill. But they can offer a ton amount of space for the Naga Siren as this Nyx Assassin probably gets his round 2 available for his Vendetta initiation. But going back to that point, Black, he just picked up an ultimate orb, so things are looking a lot better. But because he went into the enemy jungle earlier to try and fight and never came out with a kill, that kind of thing really hurts OD's item progression, and I think it's showing. By 20 minutes, he really wants to have at least 10k. Nyx Assassin dead.
Poor Bone 7, just wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, it's going to end up being spotted out. Fortunately, it's him instead of EE. It's going to get that little bit closer to his relic. Just another 1k gold to go to finish up that Radiance and really get online and start cutting waves and farming everywhere. So just waiting for that Naga Siren to kick in. And C9, they've got Grip almost back off cooldown, another 10 seconds to go. So they're just going to be looking for this gank down on bottom lane. Ice the target.
Ice. Fiend's Grip is up in 3 seconds.
2, 1, Fiend's Grip. No, just gonna be the Nightmare to start things out. Gonna follow things up. Okay. Know that they have to use the Grip. There you go. AOI comes in with the stun. I thought they were gonna try and hang on to it, but there's no real point, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, it was a nice grip there. Now, Vici are reacting appropriately when it comes to this situation, but that kind of kill really just sets them back again. The issue with Vici's lineup right now is that OD is basically the only one that's farmed. So when Naga does get the Radiance, there's going to be no other hero that can deal with the illusions. And I guess you could have kind of assumed that, because OD is the only one with the spells that kill the illusions fast. But the fact that this Razor Spawn is not kicking in means that he's not going to be able to snowball the way he wants. And this Void, of course, with all these stats, he's not going to get the farm, because every time he wants to farm, he shows himself in the lane. And all the lanes are going to be pushed in. So Cloud9 taking the opportunity to actually Roshan off of this, and Naga Siren will have her Radiance at around 22 minutes here with this Roshan kill.
Yeah, C9 even making sure to give the last hit to Envy, so that little bit of extra gold going his way there. Glyph also going to be popped off for top, as they will be able to come in here and defend the tier 2. So the Acid Spray and Medallion really doing their job and bringing down that Roshan quick smart. AUI even picking up a lot of gold himself, 2.4k over on this Alchemist right now. And what are you expecting to see out of the Alch? We don't have a mech picked up just yet, I believe, for the C9 lineup. Or do you think he just considers going for a Blink Dagger or something along those lines?
Mech is definitely possible, and so is Blink Dagger. I think one of the items that could actually work well this game is Heaven's Halberd, or Rod of Vados. It's really good for cutting up against all these single unit heroes that come out of Vici, and also they're single targets, meaning that they have to kind of just close the distance and focus on one target. Vados is really good at disrupting the flow of single target, single unit heroes, and it just allows for a lot of kiting potential. With Naga Sleep as well as the Ensnare to isolate, and of course the Creep Wave probably being dead to the Riptide as well as the Radiance, Cloud9's fight just got a lot better, and I think that Vici, it's not so much of a timing issue, but they really need to get something done very soon. And by soon, I guess the next thing that's really going to come up with them is Black's Sheepstick.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the next big pickup. Black's almost there. I really like the Heaven's Halberd suggestion on the Alk. I feel like we are probably going to see some BKBs at a Vici Gaming, or
he's
probably
got
a
a blink for
BKB
now,
on
though.
every core. But okay, yeah, it's just the blink dagger picked up for AUI.
Yeah.
Heaven's Halberd would have been really nice against the Void as well, especially given the kind of game that Ice has had. 0-2 and 1, pretty quiet, only just getting his Mask of Madness now. So an early Heaven's Halberd could have been great, but same argument is that he doesn't have a BKB, he doesn't really have scary damage either, so whether or not it's worth Heaven's Halberding him is the other question. But C9 with their Blink Daggers at the ready, Bone 7 also with his picked up, as they will start making their way in towards this top tower. BKB also picked up for FATA, so he's got a lot of room to work with in these team fights now. He can jump in on top of a support, pop the BKB, crit them to death, at the end of the duration, pop the split, and continue going to town. So I really like this pickup here from FATA. And AUI looking for the jump in bottom lane with the stun. Black has already used his Force Staff. Out comes the Primal Split. Can they boulder this one? Yes, they will. Really nicely done there.
Yeah, that was so nice of him. Did you see that? He actually used the Panda Split instead of clapping at all, just so he can dodge the Astral. And if Black got the Astral off on him, he would have been able to TP out. So FATA, some incredible fight awareness right there. And honestly, throughout the series, throughout the tournament, the unsung hero for Cloud9.
Okay, that's the Aegis gun.
Yep.
And Ice. Sorry, Claire, we'll get back to you in a sec. Grip coming out. He's backtracking a lot of this. AUI comes in with the blink stun, will finish up that kill. Super charging up the hill with no vision at all.
He knows.
Oh, but he knows AUI is actually stuck over in the trees, draining him out right now. Pi coming back in. There's the Nightmare, but AUI still losing damage. They have to be careful about this Razor right now. Stun gets thrown out. FY actually pulling the Nightmare onto himself, but that lines up for the 2-hero Impale out of Bone 7. Getting stunned up for the time being. Pops the Carapace over onto Super, who's trapped in the middle of everybody right now. Fenrir comes in, but it's a little bit too late. Everybody else is already dead, and I think C9 are just going to clean him up as well. No problem. Maybe a blink body block out of AUI, jumps forward. There's the blink as well from FATA. 2-hero stun, but it doesn't matter. They also end up losing to Leshrac. So overall trade was, I believe, just an Aegis lost for EE on top. Though he's actually getting chased right now. Oh, Ice. Won't be able to jump in with the Chronosphere. Song gets everybody back to safety. So let's quickly recap. We had a death on the Void, a death on the Razor, a death on the Leshrac over in the Radiant jungle. We had the Aegis pops top lane, and I think that was about it. I might be missing one. Oh, and also the OD died bot.
Yeah.
Whew.
A lot of things happening over the span of the last couple of minutes for sure, but honestly, the scoreboard I think now is quite reflective of what's to come. C9 have a very strong advantage at this point because their Naga Siren got up the item that she's looking for. Her net worth is already rivaling that of the OD, who's been on pretty much free farm mode ever since the beginning of this game with the Hand of Midas. So that's not a good sign for OD because Naga's farming is exponentially faster. And then you have to count the fact that Cloud9's 4 Protect 1 so far has been super successful, as I say that Ice gets a solo pick, and Panda is going to chase after.
Yeah, comes in with the boulder. Pylai has the grip, and looks like that is going to be enough. Safe farewell to Ice. Does end up being a Chronosphere traded for the split, but I think C9 not too unhappy to grab that pick off there and just buy more time for EE to continue farming up. He's disassembled his Arcane Boots to go into BOTs now, so he's got his pretty much core farming items now. Still probably a Yasha and whatnot to go from here, but it's not going to take too long now that you have the Radiance online. And I think I definitely have to agree with you that C9 are looking really good, and somebody who has had an amazing game is FATA. We talked about it in the laning stage that he was the one person on C9 that was getting respectable farm, that was keeping up the pace. He got his Blink Dagger, he got a bunch of kills, he's 7-0-5, and I think that kind of says it all for the impact that he's had this game. He's just had an amazing game.
Yeah, had an amazing series, amazing tournament overall, and honestly what this guy brought to the team was something that was so refreshing and well needed. Cloud9's performance, it's certainly enhanced. Despite the potential feeds that come out from them, or a lot of deaths and the awkward plays you see from this team, they're still a top tier team and they win a very big majority of their games. So statistically, this is a good team right now, and they've got a really strong lineup to follow. to boot here, with the Naga Siren still getting the farm. Now the Panda's second or first in net worth actually challenging that of the OD with Midas. And again, the sense of urgency has to kick in for Vici.
Yeah, and as much as we talked about, you know, the OD being alright
Radiant's
at
middle
clearing
tower
out
is under
illusions,
attack.
the question is whether or not C9 are ever going to let Black get close to EE or to, you know, any of the illusions, in fact, because we've got Nyx Assassin jumping him, we've got Brewmaster jumping him, we've got Alchemist jumping him, and nobody else on Vici Gaming is really scary enough to warrant immediate focus. Super does have his BKB up now, so a little bit of a boost coming his way in team fights, but I feel like Black is going to be on the receiving end of a lot of hate and almost still needs a BKB to do what he wants in these fights.
Oh yeah, for sure. This OD cannot fight this game without a BKB.
Oh, okay, Chrono coming out, but the song just chewing up that duration. FY on the edge, so AOI will not be able to go to work, but they're just setting up over on the Rubik right now. Gets a steal, out onto the Riptide, will be able to throw it out. Good awareness in his final hours, but it's already 2 dead, and Bone 7 jumps in with the blink stun. It's huge. Double kill, triple kill, everything that FATA's looking for right now. Super gonna go for the TP out. Will just be able to. Net was on cooldown, I believe, for EE there, but 4-0 team fight in C9's favor, and beautifully done.
Yeah. That kind of team fight is just so demoralizing to have. You know, you started the fight with a Chronosphere and you thought your heroes were in position to take the enemy down, but all you ended up chroning was this almost 2000 life point Panda with all these tankiness from the armor, and it was just a downhill battle from that ever since the Chronosphere landed. Just AOI 2000 having so much farm on his hero allows him to blink initiate, and it looks like he's got the Sange now, so he's probably going to go into that Heaven's Halberd, which I'm not even sure if he'll need this game. Overall, this Naga Siren's farm is unhindered, uncontested, and of course unwanted for the side of Vici, but now something else unwanted. Bone 7 getting that snipe with 4 heroes on the side of Cloud9 and taking that mid tower, the first tower, and resemblance of map dominance.
Yeah, we had some carapace on carapace action between the Rubik and Nyx Assassin there, but it does end up being the Rubik who loses out as Bone 7 calls in the rest of his crew to help him there. So yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. But I think this is, yeah, this is the beginning of some real problems for Vici. They're down heavily on kills. OD's just being focused, like we said, still needs to farm up another item to really do anything. EE is starting to snowball a little bit out of control, just farming everywhere, and in typical EE fashion, also just making sure to farm up as much of the Radiant jungle as he can with illusions to not only secure his own farm, but to deny farm to the enemy team and make space for his own team to pick up some levels here and there. It's actually going to be Pylai Dai who ends up going for the mech. I don't know if you mentioned that earlier, but I know that we were speculating about whether or not AOI was going to end up going for one when he had all that gold banked up earlier, but right. Yeah, in general, things looking really good for C9 right now. And I wonder what FATA's going to go in towards next. AC is definitely very good, just stack up some more auras on the brew. But I'd even like to see maybe something like an Abyssal this game, honestly. Especially since you know that Vici's cores are going to be going for BKBs pretty much no matter what. But no, okay, just ends up being a Shiva's, in fact. Yeah,
certainly a good pickup nevertheless. I mean, doesn't apply that stun, but gives you the aura that transpires through the ultimate, along with the huge AoE initiation that you can actually precast. And once you blink to the location, it'll already have covered the AoE that you have covered in the duration of time for the precast. So a really nice pickup here. Cloud9 still leading by 14 kills, and Naga Siren still no signs of stopping her. You know, this Cloud9 team, basically, they're gonna make Icefrog nerf illusions. Seriously, they split push way too much, and they just farm the jungle and farm the lanes way too much. That I'm pretty sure by January illusions are gonna get nerfed.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of TB and Naga out of C9.
Yeah, they dominate this metagame, man. This split push metagame, like, you can't deal with this well with all these teamfight heroes that want to take the fight. Like, these heroes like Void, you thought they were strong. No, man, they're useless. They want to sit in the lane and they can't contest the lane against an illusion. It's insane.
Yeah, well, I think that's always been the strongest thing about C9 is that their keep away game is impeccable. If they don't want you to kill them, they think that they've songed up the Faceless Void here, but it's an illusion. So this is a little bit of overkill. That was a really nice use of the stun as it was traveling in, pulling the Naga Sleep off the edge. So good coordination, and it would have prevented anything out of Ice. But he's actually just off farming the Dire jungle there. So all of the flashy play is going to be for naught.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're able to pick out something positive out of that too. That's quite the eye you have, man. I mean, the way I saw that, I was just like, oh, facepalm. But they don't know that, of course. They don't know that it's an illusion, so they of course committed. But again, like this kind of commitment, normally you would expect so many spells committed and so much movement showing all the heroes to hurt the team. But instead it just gave them a pathway and an excuse to walk into the enemy jungle, and Eternal Envy just farms that up. Looks like he wants to pick up the next cycle with illusions as well, as we see rotating to the bottom lane. Probably gonna return back into the jungle as we see it, and yeah, man, their farm is getting out of control here.
Yeah, they are. They're just getting ridiculous, and I feel like we so often talk about, or as casters, people often talk about Brewmaster falling off in the later stages of the game, but FATA is still in the prime of his youth right now.
Yeah,
We're 34 minutes in, but he's got so many items, 9-second BKB. He's got no problems with how this game is going right now.
Yeah, Brewmaster really falls off if you don't build attack speed, which is not the case with most brews these days. They like to build treads and then they somehow build an AC at one point. Or the other thing is if you build Aghanims. Aghanims brew doesn't scale very well because it gives you a lot of good stats early, but you most of the time want to force fights or end it early somehow. And this Aura build, on the other hand, it scales because it just gives you so much boons for your team. Especially like the Naga Siren will benefit heavily from Shiva slowing down the attack speed of the enemy and the Vladimir's offering for obvious reasons. And this Panda's probably going to pick up AC as his next item, which is going to also help Naga as well.
Yeah, and C9 in general just preparing for that slow siege, which they know and love so well. In the meantime, I think Vici Gaming knew exactly what was going on with Roshan, but they know that they just have no chance of contesting it against the Naga Siren. So just gonna go back and grab themselves a little bit of extra farm. We just still have a couple of items coming up for them. Super is about to grab an Aghanim Scepter. Fenrir has actually snagged himself a gem, so helping to maintain that Radiant map control and freeing up some extra space for them to actually be grabbing these items. We've got two BKBs that are very close on the Faceless Void and on the OD, so some extra teamfight oomph coming out for them. And still Hope kind of alive, but they're definitely on the back foot. And Super gets the BKB off. There's still going to be a song. Actually ends up canceling the TP there. I thought Super was going to wait it out, but nope, not going to happen. And now he's just on the run. BKB still going out. Do we have another blink coming up? AUI with the stun and the blink.
Oh, nice.
Pretty soon, but Ice puts an end to all of that with the Chronosphere. FATA's still chasing along with Phone 7, but Super's back to the tier 2 tower. FATA still wants some of this. Tries to pop the Primal Split. There's a lift back. Stun ends up being missed. Super getting chased to the ends of the earth here. Black jumps in with the BKB. Immediately gripped from Pylai Die. Where's the bash from Ice? That's 3 hits, no bash. He gets out of the grip, however, drops the hammer. FATA now with the stolen grip over onto him. Where is this Primal Split? He's actually completely out of mana. Black now getting stunned up, will end up being brought down. FATA with Beyond Godlike Streak doesn't need the ultimate to still go to town. And E with the Radiance Burn is going to find himself a triple. It was looking so promising for Vici Gaming, but Aegis and the farm over on C9 proves to be a little bit too much as that team fight goes heavily in C9's favor.
I mean, that was just so unfortunate to watch because that was pretty much the best opportunity that Cloud9 was ever given this game. They overextended so heavily past the tier 2 tower. Of course, the only thing that could have gone better for Vici is Void would have a Chronosphere, which he invested into stopping that aggression in the first place. But yeah, man, that really goes to show how far ahead they are right now. And these Raxes, I mean, I'm not sure if both will fall, but yeah, they're taking down the Varingo pretty quick. Ice with the BKB, but probably not enough.
Yeah, jumping in, range Drax already almost down. Ice just going to be TPing out after the net was used, so nothing to cancel that one. Melee Barracks still alive. Storm Panda staying around to be a little bit of a nuisance. Just going to slow down Super, getting to that next wave of creeps as he gets lifted up into the air. But C9, like you said, it was a really aggressive dive. I thought things were going badly after the After he had the OD ult hit, after the Sanity's Eclipse knocked everybody down to about half HP, but there wasn't any more damage after that for Vici, and,
no follow-up.
and that was the problem, so...
With the Razor being so underfarmed and the Void, although I say underfarmed, but he does have some items. He has the BKB and the Agonist, but for almost 40 minutes into the game, not something you want to show for as a Razor. With that, as well as the fact that Void doesn't have anything either, it means that this OD is here to solo carry the game, and you simply can't right now with that many slots against the Naga Siren and Panda, who are actually more farmed than you. So this game is looking next to impossible for Vici, I would say. For them to come back in this game, C9 would actually have to get 5-man Chrono and 5-man Sanity's Eclipse, and they would probably have to lose like 2 to 3 heroes inside the Chronosphere, which I don't see happening because they're just so farmed and so tanky at this point. And the way they've been playing this game is that they've been protecting the Naga with this 4 protect 1 style, where you can just jump, suicide initiate, kamikaze style with Bone 7 with the Carapace, and Panda just initiating with his stunts. Although even Eternal Envy's been playing rather aggressive. He's actually picked up a Lincoln Sphere this time. First time I've seen this Lincoln's in a while, I must say, against on the Naga.
Now I'm gonna jump in, Chronosphere. Can they keep FATA alive here? Song coming in. Of course they can. The 2 BKB heroes still going to work. The Sanity's Eclipse actually gonna drop him down. AOI jumps in with the concoction. But Vici Gaming with those BKBs, they find the opportunity against the Brewmaster. Now it's EE who's on the run. Ice chasing him down, 4-staff forward onto the faceless Void of all heroes. I don't know if he's the one that they want to have at the front here, and EE just skirting away, gonna turn off the Radiance, getting into as stealthy a position as he possibly can, and will now manage to TP himself back out. Top Rack's also taking some damage in the meantime, so really nice pickoffs for Vici Gaming, but looks like all they're going to get out of it is a handful of towers. But I think they have to just be happy with that at this point.
Yeah. Actually, that was a very odd engagement for me too. I mean, despite the number of BKBs coming out, I thought Vici are going to get wiped as a follow-up, but unfortunately FATA never had the opportunity to cast any other spell in the Shivas or the Black King Bar, which are items, or the Panda Split, which would have completely changed the pace of the fight. So very nice pickoffs by Vici. Whether it's not enough, again, only time will tell. But it looks like both 7-1.
Nice, no BKB, gets used up, EE coming in, there's the net, there is now a time walk, so Nice leaping himself a little bit further away, that defusal is not yet being delivered. There's the song, but I think realizing that nobody else has made their way in here, and they're a little bit close to the tier 3 tower, so just gonna cancel it immediately.
Not too sure if I support this Lincoln pickup though, honestly. I feel like if the Naga just focuses on stacking herself at this point, she's gonna wreck the game. And this Lincoln's is kind of like a half-half pickup, the way I see it. It just doesn't seem to fit the design of what you want the hero to do here.
Yeah, and I feel like EE is never going to be playing the Naga in sort of a Miracle-esque style, where he picks up the Lincoln Sphere and just goes and runs at the enemy team and is trying to push the limits as much as possible. He's much more calculated, you know, still has all the same intercepting creep waves with illusions, everything else, but doesn't really put his hero in danger as much. Yeah, but there you go.
He's a lot more reserved than Miracle, and I guess that doesn't really say that much, because Miracle is extremely bold, but yes, I do agree. And I think again, this Lincoln Sphere pickup, it's, I don't know, it's unnecessary, to put it simply.
You feel like just diffuse hard, butterfly, whatever the case may be, just getting stacked. Yeah. Yep.
There's the defusal. So that's one piece. Looking for probably the heart next. I mean, his illusions. He might think that the Arcane Orb will just burst down the illusions or the Sanity's Eclipse, but it's really important to keep the longevity for those illusions as long as possible, because as soon as they die once in the lane, that presence is gone, and all those illusions really have to do is not even be alive in the teamfights, they just have to push in the creep waves. All the teamfight work can be done by the Nyx Assassin, Alchemist, and the Brewmaster.
Yeah, and we've seen time and time again as well, where we've got alliance games and things like that, where they're pushing in one lane, the illusions loop all the way around the outside of the base to go and push an exposed lane of Rex, and then they just song everybody who's trying to defend the other lane. Time walk away from Ice, BKB inside the trees, but they get the vision. There's the grip to cancel the TP. This is a huge pick off for C9. AOI is going to end up stunning himself. Ice does manage to drop the Chronosphere, but there's a song coming in. He's found his way into the backline. Super still draining some damage. FATA's going to retreat himself back out. There's another time walk for Ice, but there's nowhere to go. Brought down by the stun. Super can continue trying to fight. Couple of seconds left on this BKB. Unfortunately, AOI won't be able to get that stun out. Black turning into fight here. Drops the Hex onto FATA. Won't be able to burst him down. Sanity's Eclipse comes too late. The ultimate's already been used from the Panda. Super now being focused. Bone 7 in the middle of this. Ice with the buyback. Rejoins the fray, but he doesn't have that Chronosphere ready to go. Bouldered and stunned by the Alchemist. And the Fire Panda still going to work on him. The Medallion not making life easy either. We've got the lift up onto Black. He's the target that they really want. Brainsap coming in. FY sticking his ground. FATA coming in with the BKB. Gets the crit. Triple kill there. Super is back to life. But Vici Gaming are just trickling in one by one and getting beat to death by FATA and AUI. Pylai's Eye coming in as well. It's an ultra kill for FATA. Can we get the Rampage? Black doesn't want it to happen. He's going to hex up the Brewmaster. But I don't know if his wishes are anything to FATA as he finishes up the Rampage. Oh my word, what an end to this game and what an end to this series. And FATA, what a player.
FATA, really, simply put, the unsung hero of Cloud9 right now. Ever since he came in, he's been making very, very big splashes, huge waves, and dominating a lot of the game for us with these brilliant puck plays and a lot of his Panda. Let's just look at the numbers and let them speak for themselves, right?